Hello, this is John. Hope you're having the day you deserve. So I want to talk about some things that I don't believe in. I don't believe in authoritarian rule or a rule by a single leader, no matter how charismatic they are. And I don't believe in propaganda or using someone who has unquestioning loyalty to maintain absolute control to another person. I don't believe in unquestioning loyalty. I don't believe in the suppression of dissent, like such as protests or freedom of the press or freedom of speech or that kind of thing. As long as hate speech, of course, is an exception. I believe that's been ruled on in the Supreme Court. I don't believe in totalitarianism, where the government or the state seeks to get total control over all aspects of public and private life, including the economy and education. I don't believe in the rewriting of history to make it fit conveniently, maybe into the minds of the person who's in charge. I believe, history is important. You may not like all of it, but that doesn't mean you get to rewrite it. Rewriting it doesn't change the fact that it happened. But I don't believe in rewriting history. I don't believe that militarism and an emphasis on military strength and violence are the way to go. I'm not saying I don't believe in a strong defense, but I don't believe that should be the be-all and end-all. And the, case in point, we're just dumping so much money into Iran right now. And our military spending, even before this, was more than the next 9 or 10 nations combined. And those nations included Russia and China and, all the European nations. We already outspend everybody by a lot. And I don't believe that should be our focus, especially at the expense of everyday American citizens like you and me. I don't believe the courts should be done away with. I believe the judiciary is an important part of our government, and I don't believe it being attacked every time they make a ruling that someone doesn't like. Law and order is there for a reason, and it's been a part of our nation's fabric for a long time, and the court is supposed to be the great equalizer. And I get that people with money are treated differently than people like you and me. So our justice system is already skewed in a sort of classist way anyhow. But I don't believe literally verbally attacking the judiciary. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that justice should be arbitrary. I do believe in due process. And if due process is being done away with, I can't abide by that because, again, this is part of the fabric of our nation. I also don't believe that leaders should be above the law or enjoy any kind of immunity, let alone absolute immunity. And I don't believe that the rights of the government should be more important than the rights of the individuals, which means the leader's will or the regime's will supersedes and overrides all codified legal statutes. The law shouldn't be used as a weapon or a tool. It just shouldn't happen that way. I don't believe in extreme nationalism, which I see happening in certain groups in our nation. And extreme nationalism means that your belief in superiority. And it's often coupled with this obsession with perceived national decline. I say perceived because it's a propaganda tool when people convince you that the nation was never great, as an example. as propaganda, especially when the nation has been great. And it also, I don't believe in coupling that whole thing with victimhood, where woe is me. And again, I'll use the example of our president's a perfect example of that. He's supposed to be the most powerful man in the world, supposedly, certainly the most powerful in the United States, but he's always playing the victim. And this whole victimhood, coupled with propaganda, is not something I can stand by. The scapegoating that goes on, blaming others for issues that have been caused not by them, blaming minority groups, people of color, LGBTQ, immigrants, or pointing out someone who speaks against you as a political enemy. I I can't abide by those things. Um, I don't agree when there's disdain for human rights and that individual liberties are seen as obstacles um, in the way of those in power or those who want to obtain more power. Um, sorry, our individual liberties are important, to a point. I think, again, when you start moving into hate speech, then you have crossed a line, so to speak. I don't believe in governments indirectly or directly controlling the media. And right now we have a lot of right-wing conservatives who have purchased major media outlets and control most of the media of what we hear. This whole thing about the liberal media is, well, it's kind of part of my language. It's a crock of shit because conservatives have controlled the airwaves forever, and they continue to buy them up more, and they're more concerned with promoting their message rather than facts. So I'm not a big fan of corporatism, where you protect corporate power while suppressing labor unions, because to me unions are, they're there for people like you and me, and the people in power who already have a shitload of money and power want even more. And how do they get it? They take away what little bit we still have. I also don't believe in this cronyism and nepotism and corruption, where people are put in positions of power not because of being the best qualified person for it, but they are there because of people they know, and they're put in place because they're going to insulate the person who put them in place. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in an opposition to a liberal democracy. Liberal has been a term that has been polluted and corrupted itself. Liberal is just, you're open-minded to new ideas and others and people and things. So I guess I'm against fascism, because all those things are part of fascism. And historically, they've been documented as parts of fascist regimes. So I'm against those things. And I would hope that you are too. And if you are, I guess that makes you anti-fascist, which is a good thing in and of itself. So I guess you would call me Antifa because I'm against fascism. So there you have it. But I would hope every American who follows the Constitution would be against those things that I just mentioned. I mean, we fought a world war against those things, for crying out loud. Have the day you deserve.